Hello, my name is Daniella Brereton and I'm a first year student for marketing management, and today I'm going to be talking about digital identity. Um, so first of all, let's talk about what is digital identity. So digital identity is the virtual identity which you create on your social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. It plays a huge role in the way people perceive you, and it can lead to possible opportunities as people who like your profile could offer potential jobs in the future if you come across in a professional manner. It is important to ensure that your digital identity is not tarnished and is clear of anything that could be deemed as inappropriate. This is because if future employers check your social media, it needs to portray you in a good way so that it doesn't put them off or create a bad image of you to them. Digital identity creates a real-world image of you to people who haven't met you before. They see a persona of you through the virtual world and create an idea of you through this. This is why it's important to keep your digital identity updated and frequently checked for any potentially harmful content. Margaret Rouse also states a digital identity is the body of information about an individual, organisation, or electronic device that exists online. Digital identity uses anonymous dynamic data that cannot be lost or stolen, and digital identity is the data that uniquely describes a person or a thing and contains information about the subject's relationships. So part of the digital identity, part of the data, what that includes is passwords. Obviously, this is why it's important to make sure that they are strong, at least 8 characters long, so that they are less likely to be hacked into. And also information such as card details when you're taking payments online. That's vital that you make sure that you are careful with that data, as that could potentially be hacked into. Also, search history is part of digital identity data, and your social media posts. So if we look back on the importance of digital identity, so digital identity is a key fundamental tool for employers to check the nature of their employees or people who they potentially want to employ in the future. Bardinelli says that digital identities are permanent, they leave a permanent mark, and digital identities are easy to exploit and are highly profitable. So the key changes in the digital identity, social media environment, and its potential impact upon myself. So the key changes in the digital identity and social media environment are that more and more people are posting every day. This has made social media a key fundamental aspect of day-to-day life, as the younger generation are checking social media almost every hour of the day. This means that due to the increases in popularity of social media, people have to keep in touch with ensuring that their social media is of an acceptable standard. Its potential impact on me is that in the foreseeable future, my employers will check my social media to get an idea of what kind of things I get up to outside of working hours. This can either impact your chances of getting a job in a positive or negative way. Furthermore, employers may frequently check their employees' social media in order to make sure that there is no content which may harm the company's reputation. There also may be content on there which could be found from years ago, which can affect the company's reputation again, and therefore it could mean to potentially your job being terminated, so getting sacked, due to the company not standing for that kind of behaviour online. Risks of digital identity. So obviously there's a risk of getting hacked. Depending on how secure you make your profiles will obviously depend on how high the risk is of that. There's a risk of fraud if you put your card details onto a website, as this can potentially get hacked into. So clothing websites such as Misguided, Pretty Little Thing, Opoly, these are all websites which I actually order online from, and they give you an option to actually put your card details in to save for later use. Now, that is kind of a data protection issue, as obviously if your card details are in a system, if they get hacked into, your card details will be taken. And as my mum works for a bank, she's always advised me not to do that, as she has many cases of fraud from certain situations, including those. Um, Another thing is a lot of companies are using biometric systems which involve fingerprint recognition. So my dad actually used to sell these to big construction companies. Um, so there also is risks online with this, as the fingerprints can be duplicated or used fraudulently. So obviously that's something that needs to be tackled, and there's procedures that can get put in place to obviously reduce that risk. There's also a risk with facial recognition, as Tynan says, devices could potentially be tricked by using a photograph instead of an actual face. So experiments were carried out to see if that would actually work, and it did. So obviously that carries a risk. For the next steps in developing my digital identity, I'm going to make sure that all my passwords are strong, of at least 8 characters and also capital letters, so that it makes it harder for hackers to get into any of my accounts. I will also ensure that I focus on my posts being of a suitable nature and that they are not at risk of causing bad publicity or bringing any bad publicity to myself, any bad attention to myself. Another step that I will take to improve my digital identity is to carry the same display picture across all of my social media platforms. This is so that it makes my social media look more professional and consistent throughout. And another step that I will take is to link my social media platforms. For example, on Instagram, I will have a link in my bio to my LinkedIn account, so that if potential employers come across my Instagram, they can access my LinkedIn page, which is classed as a more professional type of social networking. I also need to ensure that I put suitable posts up for each type of social media. For example, each social media platform has a wide audience. However, there are usually a specific age group which are more active with using the social media. So, for example, Facebook is more for kind of the older generation sometimes, it's a bit of a mixture. However, that's kind of more that it's swaying towards, whereas Instagram's more younger people as a whole. And I'm also going to ensure that the content of my digital identity is communicated only to those who I want to see it. However, I will be mindful that some of my content may get shared with others that I am not aware of, and therefore I need to be careful with what I communicate online. So there has been a massive issue over the years with fake identities on social media. This is because obviously people out there can pose as other people by using things such as pictures, other people's birth dates and phone numbers and that kind of thing, email addresses. So there's a massive issue around kind of fake identities. Um, it can be damaging to individuals, because obviously if they're being impersonated by someone else, that means that that other person that's impersonating them can almost do whatever in the other person's name, um, and it means that the person who's the victim of the fake identity do not have control over what that other person is doing in their name. So for people like celebrities and that kind of thing, it's very difficult, as if they get hacked into, a wide audience will see that. Um, there are many accounts which people pose as someone else, and this can be dangerous as people are tricked into thinking that they are viewing somebody's profile when it's not in fact their profile. Anyone can create or even buy a fake account, and it's used for a variety of reasons: to make themselves appear more popular than they are, to send spam, or for other more malicious reasons. In conclusion, Digital identity is something which in this day we all have. It is a part of our lives which we have to adapt to in a positive way in order to impact our lives in a good way. If we have a bad digital identity, then there is a possibility that we could affect our opportunities with future employers in a negative way for the future. It's also important that in a fast and ever-changing technical environment that I take certain pathways to ensure that I avoid any issues with fraudulent attacks.